let's talk about something that's I see evolving in our real estate market that has got me very, very concerned. You guys know that, a couple years ago, we started seeing a downward pressure on the average real estate commission. And again, I want to qualify, first of all, on this topic. There is no set commission. There is no standard commission. There is no common commission. There is a negotiated commission. Okay. There's a range that we have gotten used to that we earn every dollar of, okay? I don't know about your business, Carey Ann, if you feel like you earn what you make.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we feel like we earn we know we earn what we make, whatever that amount is. But my point is, I'm seeing within the new construction world. Well, first of all, let's all understand this: there is a lack of inventory out there, right? And that lack of inventory has suddenly put the new construction firms in the catbird seat. And unfortunately, some of them are taking that to heart and saying, well, let's see, we can dictate some terms here that are all in our favor. We all know that, especially the larger builders, they have their contracts. It's their bat. It's their ball. We play their game, or we don't join in the fun, especially in a hot market. Well, now they've made some adjustments where suddenly we're not getting compensated by some of these large builders around town nearly as much as we used to.
Is that due to like lumber cost, or what do you think that's due?
No, because they raise the price on the house.
Yeah,
okay.
They've continually...
They can even renegotiate now the price on the house. They're putting that into the contract.
I don't understand
They
that.
can even renegotiate at a certain point because they don't know if the lumber's going to go up or not.
I got you.
So it's part of the contract that it gives them an out.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Because they know they can sell it regardless.
And see, in the past... if they, I know that they had you pay extra for any improvements, any upgrades, and that makes sense. Maybe the next person may not like, a pink sink in the kitchen or whatever, they might have to replace that. But now they're requiring, and some of the builders are requiring a non-refundable 5% deposit. Now, Carey Ann, we're going to get sidetracked here on this topic, but if you're putting 5% on an FHA purchase and it's non-refundable, how's that FHA addendum work in that? It doesn't, does it? You're not obligated to, you can't lose your earnest money on an FHA deal, can you, on the addendum? That's part of what the addendum states.
Oh, I mean, I feel like on certain loans, right, which FHA, they are protecting the buyer. So if for some reason something does come into play that doesn't meet the standards of FHA, we're not able to issue them an FHA loan.
So what if they only qualify FHA and they can't lose their earnest money? Don't we have a conflict there? Anyhow, we can talk about another time on that. I don't put you on the spot, but it seems like to me there's going to be a conflict in that scenario.
It's because they're classifying it as a down payment and not an earnest money.
Oh.
Yeah, builder deposit too, right?
Okay, there might be some
Sometimes it's
there.
the terms, and also the contract's different. Isn't there a contract? Isn't it completely a separate entity?
Yeah,
where they can do, and that's how they also are able to state, please talk to my featured lender blank, where you on a listing agent, you're not able to do that.
There's a whole lot of that going on. A whole lot of that going on. But anyway, so my concern is, and as I started to say earlier, one of the reasons why Connie and I opened up Realty One Group Music City is we see a downward pressure on the real estate commission, just because big entities come to town like Redfin, Open Door, all the usual challenges out there with the big tech dollars that they have to spend that we don't, as real estate individuals or even local companies, we don't have those billions of dollars to spend like Open Door does. And so they're taking part of the pie. Well, now, I mean, can you imagine this, Jim? Can you imagine this? As a real estate agent, you've been out showing property like crazy. You bonded with these people. They've signed their buyer's agreement, and you're working hard for them. And then one night they go online and they click on a new construction property being promoted by another builder here locally, and they fill out some documents so they can get future information from that builder on their new construction and their sites. And now suddenly they are no longer obligated to pay you because in their world they've become the author of that business. We just had that happen in our office. That to me is heartbreaking. And how do you prevent that? A conversation probably with a real estate attorney probably, but I just want we need to think through these processes because they're happening out there. And that's of course part of what we try to do here at Realty One, with Music City Real Estate, is try to prepare people
right.
for what's happening.
And there's many different scenarios, like you just mentioned, and which is why it's even more important to have representation.
Absolutely.
Whereas they're coming from the standpoint that we seemingly just hand them over and they take care of everything.
Right.
Well, that's not the case. Is we need to represent them for things just like that, and educate our clients. So, it's not like we just run into somebody and all of a sudden they're a buyer and they want to go look at a new home and then put in a contract.
Right.
There is time, there's acquisition costs,
there's
involved
time,
to
absolutely.
have these leads, to generate, to nurture, to bring them to the point where they're ready to look.
Right.
And then a lot of times they're looking at other houses.
Right.
You're taking them on buyer tours. You're doing all of this work, and you are representing them. So for them to say, well, you just bring it here and we take care of them, so you should be paid less is wrong. It's false.
It's not right at all.
Yeah.
It's not right at all. And I think that's one of the key things. I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that ends up being one of the key topics as far as our security of getting compensated for the efforts we're putting into it. And that is to have that heart to heart with the consumer and say, look, I get it. You can walk into a builder and do your thing there without, representation. But guess what's going to happen when there is a problem? And as nice and as wonderful as that on-site person is, guess what's going to happen if there is a problem? Who's going to represent you? It ain't going to be the person who's getting paid by that builder who you're having a problem with.
Right.
And that's with any of the builders. That's just human nature. That's just the way it works. People are going to be loyal to who's writing them the check. Okay? And so what they're thinking they're saving, they're not, because all good builders, I don't know that a lot of agents or consumers realize this, but all good builders have calculated into their cost of selling is a marketing fee. And so they have a choice. They're going to put that in their pocket, or they're going to put that in your pocket. If they keep it in their pocket, of course, it makes all the stockholders happy and proud and applaud. But if there is a problem, then guess who didn't get any representation? You didn't. Do you think they're really, as a builder, are they going to be really emphatic about you getting a home inspection, as an example?
No.
They're not.
No.
They're not. They're going to say, hey, here's a form to fill. Yeah, if you want to get a home inspection, but you got a brand new house. You're getting a 1-year warranty. Why would you do that?
They play that up all the time.
Why would you get a bother inspecting it? And then guess what? 5 years later, when you decide to sell the home, guess whose problem that is? It ain't the builder's. It's yours, because you inherited that. So
and let me just take a second. It blows my mind how many times on new home builds that we do get, our buyers get the inspection, how many things are wrong.
I know it.
And I'm talking about big builders.
I know it.
It blows my mind. And so anybody listening, just because you get you're doing a new home build, you need a home inspector to take a look at that, because
Absolutely.
there are too many things that we have seen that goes wrong.
And you inherit the problem. That builder's not going to come back years later. It's just the way it is. One time, I'll never forget it. It was by one of the best builders in town here. My clients noticed that there was air blowing out of the return air, and it was reversed. The motor in it was reversed. Well, that probably, if nobody had noticed that, it probably would have been it would have lasted for a while. I don't know if it lasts for a year or not until it's out of warranty, But those are the kind of obvious mistakes that can be made. One time, I'll never forget, years ago, that a smaller builder in North Nashville he pushed back on the fact that we wanted to get a home warranty. That's before they really made it, hey, this is part of the requirement, or at least sign off on. And he said, I built a good home. There's nothing wrong with my homes, and you don't need to do that. And I don't want somebody coming in here to tell me how to build a house. And I get all that, because back in the day, if you could carry a pin behind your ear, I can't do that here with these earmuffs on, but if you could carry a pin right there behind your ear and carry a clipboard at the same time, I'm an inspector. That's what I am. That's kind of how loose it was back in the day. Now it's not. Now they've got a lot more liability, a lot more, now it's now they're going to the other extreme. Now that it's like you can't, home doesn't hold up to that. But anyway, so anyway, this we did the home inspection, much to that builder's chagrin, and we found out in multiple places the plumber had cut out floor joists to run the plumbing. Because a lot of these vendors, and no offense to anybody really, but a lot of these vendors, they don't work in synchronicity to each other.
Yeah.
I had a case one time where the electrician was behind schedule, so the drywallers went ahead and put the drywall up. Any idea how hard it was to wire a home after it had been drywalled? But I mean, that's just an example of how they don't always work in conjunction with one another. So,
well, we even have one that I think I shared with you is a large builder. They forgot to put the water heater in.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different, levels of building, right? There's some builders actually that do an amazing job out there, and they're local here, and we've got a great home builders association filled with amazing builders. But also, there's people that have watched HGTV and want to be their own GC and start, I mean, I've met many that want to get in the business, flip houses, et cetera, and they're doing buildings. So you're right. I think my house that I bought down in Tollgate never had the gas hooked up, in the fireplace, So you're right. So, things do happen on new construction.
And so let's take that point. So what we're saying is, there are reasons to have representation. Not all new home builders are like this.
Right.
We have some great experiences from certain home builders. Love them.
Yeah. And this is not to take away from our good quality ones.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you when the market's hot, though, other entities come to town, and as long as the market's hot, they're here. Once the market cools down, they're gone. And who do you go with then? So the part of the purpose of this conversation here is to help agents, to help consumers understand there's a difference, first of all, between builders, and second of all, regardless of that builder, you still need representation. And that's the message that we as professionals have to make sure we're getting across clearly to the consumer when there's games like I just described about somebody going online and registering on a site of a company, and now suddenly that company no longer has to pay that professional.